I'm James Spann. This is the afternoon edition of the Weather Xtreme video. This is for Tuesday, the 9th day of March. Unsettled weather headlines are forecast for the next several days. In fact, maybe some thunderstorms along the way. Let's take a look out the window. First off this morning, gorgeous sunrise there coming from the Chehaw Skycam. That was captured about 6:30 this morning. And had a little clearing there back in the eastern horizon, allowing for that gorgeous scene there. But this afternoon, the sky mostly cloudy. First off, down in Dauphin Island, rain is falling down there in the Alabama Gulf Coast. That's the view in the far southern tip of Mobile County. We'll go up the road a bit to Troy, looking at the stadium there on the campus, and the sky is mostly cloudy. And in Chilton County, that's the Clanton Skycam. And again, the sky generally cloudy. So far, not much rain today as expected, but the rain will be generally increasing in coming days. There's a look at the big picture, the water vapor satellite shot, and on top of that, the contours at 500 millibars. And you can see trough number 1 rotating through the nation's breadbasket, trough number 2 coming down through the southwest, and both of those will somewhat merge into this upper low that kind of sits north of us for a couple of days and keeps things somewhat unsettled. Here's a look at temperatures around the nation this afternoon, and again, noticeably warmer. Looks like we've got New York City sitting at 55, Washington, D.C., in the 60s. We've got 70s up into parts of the Carolinas, and don't you know they're enjoying that. That's the weather we had yesterday. Around here, temperature's not as mild as yesterday, mostly 60s on the board. It is cooler back up in northwest Alabama where rain has been falling. Haleyville only at 52, but we note Birmingham at 66 degrees, Montgomery at 67. Now that's the radar as of 12:50 this afternoon. You can see we've got some rain falling, especially over the western side of the state. And a look at the radar, there's a little more current. This is the radar coming out of Columbus, Mississippi. This is at 2:27, and by golly, that storm that is located west of Meridian in Newton County has prompted a severe thunderstorm warning. We did not expect to see those around today. And you can see the rain extending over into West Alabama, but we note on the instability chart there is no surface-based instability showing up here. So we don't expect any major severe weather problems. That should be very isolated. The surface-based instability for the moment is still well off to the west. Convective outlooks, that's for the rest of today and tonight. Low-end probabilities, not even warranting a slight risk over parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, and Arkansas. Tomorrow there is a slight risk, including southwest Alabama. That would include places like Grove Hill, Mobile, Atmore, Gulf Shores, much of Mississippi, Louisiana, all of Arkansas and the surrounding states. And on day 3, which is Thursday, all of Alabama is in that low-end probability. And again, that's just a 5% risk of severe weather in there. Don't expect any major issues. In the QPF chart, this is the expected rain across the country for the next 5 days. And valid through Sunday morning at 6 o'clock, and you can see that Alabama looking pretty wet there. This latest graphic suggesting some 2-inch range for much of the state. And I think 1 to 2 inches is a pretty safe bet. And a quick peek at the watch warning map. Again, all of the really active advisories are out west in the mountains out there with winter weather concerns. Let's take a look at the modeling here. This is the 12Z GFS at noon tomorrow, noon on Wednesday. The initial shortwave is rotating up there toward Minneapolis, St. Paul. The new one around Childress, Texas. And around here, that looks pretty wet. We think tomorrow could be a fairly wet day with rain and thunderstorms likely. Severe weather not especially likely. There's hardly any surface-based instability. But we could easily pick up 1 to 2 inches of rain tomorrow and tomorrow night. Now, Thursday, again, you can see how this upper low is beginning to get its act together, but still a series of spokes rotating around that thing. And down below that, there is still evidence that we might be getting into a dry slot on Thursday. The most widespread rain moves off to the east, maybe some midday sunshine, and a chance of storms redeveloping Thursday afternoon. And if by chance we see a decent amount of sunshine, we could get up in the mid-70s, and the storms could pack a pretty good punch on Thursday. We'll have to watch for that. And then Friday, there's the whole big upper low. It just kind of develops into this one big vortex that's centered near Kansas City. And down below that, the deeper moisture is off to the east, but again, that would suggest at least a chance of showers, scattered showers on Friday, with the most widespread range just north of us. And then Saturday, starting off the weekend, that cold air loft is evident in those low thickness values. You typically see the 540 line. You think we better mention maybe some snow there, but that's the very cold air up top. The low levels are way too warm for snow. In fact, we should be in the 50s on Saturday. But having said that, there could be little pockets of showers, maybe even with some small hail, which sometimes happens with very cold core systems like that. So again, Saturday, cool, cloudy, maybe a few showers, not a rainy day. And then Sunday, the upper low begins to pull out, and that should be a dry day with a partly sunny sky and probably low 60s on Sunday. And Monday of next week, can you tell I'm fighting a cold? You probably can. That looks dry, but look at Tuesday now. This is March the 16th. All of a sudden, we've got this deep cold core again passing over us with a new trough. And down below that, very low thickness values. And again, that would suggest that would be a fairly cool day with a chance of showers. And again, maybe within those showers, there could be some small hail and highs in the 50s. And then Wednesday, a surface low begins to form on the Atlantic coast, pulling away from us. That would be a cool day, probably some lingering clouds and maybe a brief morning shower, but nothing especially wet. Then on the 18th, that's Thursday of next week, we're dry, and Friday of next week, the 19th, looks dry. We're taking you through that week because for many of you, it's spring break week. And out there at the end of the forecast on March the 25th, again, we got a southwest flow aloft, and that looks pretty cold up north. Big snow there for Nebraska and South Dakota, if that's right, and storms developing out there across the southern plain states. But as usual, looks like your typical March smorgasbord in the days ahead. That's it for the Weather Xtreme video today. We'll have notes on the blog. The next video here by 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. And if you're local to us, we invite you to watch us on television this evening, ABC 3340 at 5, 6, and 10. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful evening, and God bless.
Each day, there are new stories to tell about the people who live here and the place we call home.
All of the faces that I see, all of the places close to me, they're all part of all the best things about home.
Sharing your stories on ABC 3340, Alabama's news leader.